Hey, welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. It's 7 a.m. 7 a.m. Where's my head? 7 p.m. on the East Coast. 7 a.m. I'm usually still asleep, but maybe today I'll be up. 7 p.m. on the East Coast here, and so you got to look at my mug. It is time for the Sharpe Way Show. And as always, you know what I'm going to say. Please like, comment, share. It does matter. I know some of you think the little liking and the clicking doesn't matter. It does. Every little click, every little like, every little, hey, Larry, comment does matter. The algorithms kick in. Someone's paying attention. Let's get us shared as much as we possibly can. And of course, if you can support the show, please do so. If you're making those big dollars, throw some my way so I can keep this going. $100 a month because you got the big dollars. If you don't, $5, $10 is fine too. If you don't have that, no worries. As always, support my sponsors. One of them being the advocates.org. Heading over there, take that test, share the world's smallest political quiz, makes everybody happy, and it's free, not too shabby. And lastly, if you actually are someone who likes CBD products, great. Head over to grownselection.com, make a purchase, put in Sharpe Way 20 for 20% off. Today, I want to chat about almost like a bigger picture that most people aren't talking about. There are lots of issues and concerns with our country, obviously, a lot with the world. And most of us are focusing on, and I understand why, our own personal issues that are happening. Makes total sense, right? You're affected by the COVID lockdowns, or your job has changed, your kid's not going to school, or something like that. These are all critical things that I'm glad we're concerned about, and we should be concerned about. I look on the news, though, and I see that's about all that we're talking about, right? At that end, whether Trump is going to be president or not, and his lawsuits and such, all things to be concerned about. But there is a bigger picture, and that is after this, right? After Biden is put on board in June 20th, he's on board in June 20th, June. My head is someplace else tonight, I guess, obviously, isn't it? January 20th, right? When that happens. Whenever the COVID lockdowns end, I hope very soon, and we don't put up for this with much longer. But what's happening next? What else is happening out there? What is the next president's 4 years going to be like for us on a larger scale? How do we fix all the damage that's done, right? Once these minor wars or major wars, and I mean internally, are over, you still have to win the peace. You can't just win the war. You have to win the peace. There are issues that we're dealing with now, financial issues, political issues, outside, inside, all over the place. The biggest ones that we have to worry about are those based upon trust. I know that sounds kind of cheesy. That sounds kind of odd, I know. But in reality, those are the most important things we have to worry about. If we're going to fix our culture, if we're going to fix our country, fix our system, all those things, yeah, it takes trust. This is the thing we're lacking. There's lack of trust in our financial system, lack of trust in our culture, lack of trust in our political establishment, lack of trust in our school system, lack of trust overseas in those people who are supposedly our allies and our enemies. So lack of trust everywhere. So how in the world do we fix trust? How do you build loyalty in anything you're doing? Most people will tell you, well, if you want to build any type of trust, show people how strong you are, right? Iron fist. I'm a powerful person. You should trust me. I would argue it's almost the opposite. That allows people to fear you, which is not necessarily a bad thing, depending on what you're trying to achieve. But if you really want people to trust you, generally speaking, you've got to be more vulnerable. Yes, there's an old saying from, I shouldn't say old anymore, from one of my mentors, Dr. Mark Goulston. He tells about the idea of baring your throat. He says, bare your throat. This is usually done in a business world, not a regular world, but a business world. You bare your throat symbolically. You show some vulnerability and you see what happens. And if you're in a typical boardroom or something like that, when you bare your throat, what happens is your enemies can't stop and they go for it. So you know who your enemies are. And on top of that, people who care about you go, whoa, what are you doing? Put your throat down. They defend you. Get away. What are you doing? And people who don't care go, oh, is his throat burn? Whatever. They don't care. They're on their phone. So I think there's a part of that we have to do. It's what you often see me do here on this show. Very often, I share my problems, issues, concerns, past, and I try to do everything live so you see who I really am. And I'm hoping that we're building trust. I'm hoping that we are. But I need us all to build trust in many different ways. So let me begin to talk about some of them. The first one, financially. Man, someone just popped it. I'm going to put it out right now. Bitcoin. Yes. I mean, yes. If you want people to trust in our finances, if you want people to trust in this, maybe you don't just keep pushing the dollar. I know that may seem crazy to some of you, but what? Why? Maybe you should be more open to things like cryptocurrency or open to things, similar to that, the blockchain in general. And you find a lot of governments are not open at all. Our state, New York, not open, right? The more open you are to these ideas, you wind up creating things where you will verify. So now, once you verify here and there and you keep verifying, you begin to trust. Someone is vulnerable enough to go, hey, you know what? Verify it. Check it out. And you go, okay. And you check it out. And you go, you know what? Yeah, I'm in. That's one of the things you have to worry about, right? This goes back to the individual. You, right? You borrowed money from me and you didn't pay me back. I don't trust you anymore. How can I get to trust you? Maybe you loan me some money and see how that works. If I really care about you and I want to make this relationship work, maybe I loan you money again and I roll the dice in a relationship. If I care about you that much, you're my brother or sister or someone I care about in my life, a close family friend, I do it again. And I'm vulnerable and I give you a chance to actually pay the money back or not. And if you don't, no more trust. But if you do, slate's clean. Slate's clean. You pay back this time. You've gained my trust back. I was vulnerable again. And you, when I bared my throat, you didn't attack. You know what? Okay, we can do that. And I mean that on a bigger level on everything we do. Financially, of course, but also culturally. Culturally, we are sitting into a position right now where one side hates the other side hates that side. Neither one trusts either one. You don't trust them at all. And you see it. You see it that because a person says something, it is by default wrong. I think Trump was a great example of this. His big personality was a great example. We have people who said, because Trump said it, therefore it's wrong, regardless of whether it's right or not. Or because Trump said it, it's right, regardless of whether it's right or wrong. Right? If he said it, we have decided how valid that thing is based upon who said it, not based upon whether it's true or not. That had no value. Not no value, I'm exaggerating, but very little value. We have to change that. How do we do that? By people now starting to have actual, hey, I was wrong. Maybe I'm not right. Maybe I could be wrong. When we start having people do that, it begins to work. It's one of the reasons why people don't hate Biden so much, right? People hated Hillary. They don't hate Biden. A lot of people don't want to be president. That's true. But there's not a hatred in general compared to Hillary. It's all relative, obviously, compared to Hillary, because as a general, Biden doesn't have a big personality. And he's not going, I'm always right. He's not doing that. So I think you have less people angry at him and more people willing to go, fine, we'll give this guy a shot. Let's see how he'll do it. I think that is a big deal. Is that Sharpe Way 20 for 420 off? I like that idea. It's actually 20 off. I appreciate that. Hi, Larry. We love you. I love you too. Thank you so much. Hello, Helen. I appreciate that. Love from Clinton County. Way up there. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're watching. I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. As someone whose ancestors have been here since Jamestown and Mayflower, I am shocked that we're reverting to our old ways. High taxes, more laws, less transparency and accountability. Andrew, you brought up the bigger piece I wanted to bring up. Part of being vulnerable is being transparent. This is where we fail again. our leaders are trying to cover up the bad things they do, not admitting any fault or responsibility. Cuomo does it. Trump doesn't. They don't admit fault or responsibility, and they aren't transparent. None of them are. I know some people like Cuomo get mad, people like Trump get mad when I say it, but it's still true. They're still government guys who are not transparent and who don't admit fault. Admit fault. But Larry, people will point the finger at you. But Larry, people will say you're bad. They're going to point the finger at you anyway, and they're going to say you're bad anyway. There is a difference, and people hear me say this. I can have you mad at me and think I'm wrong, or I said something stupid, or I said something you disagree with, or you disagree with my policy. I can have that because we can get over that if we communicate. But I can't have you not trust me. Once you don't trust me, communication is kind of useless. You don't trust me anymore. But if you trust me, just go, no. I trust Larry. He's just wrong. But I trust him. He's just wrong. Well, now there's a conversation. Okay, why am I wrong? Are you wrong? Are we both right? Are we both wrong? There's a conversation at that point. But you don't trust me? Why are we talking? This is the problem with what we're doing right now in our culture. We're picking a side. Everyone on our side is right. Everyone on the other side is wrong. But you see what I try to do here, which is give everybody the benefit of the doubt whenever I can, and give everybody, to the best of my ability, credit where credit is due. So I'm trying to make it so that no one's 100% wrong, except Cuomo, and no one's 100% right. Yes, that's true. Building trust is not easy. Yes, an everyday challenge. Starts with me choosing actual trust. Absolutely. But I'm going to go even further. And I'm going to go even with trade. I'm going to go even further. Military. All those things. I'm going to go even further with those things, which you might think, trade, come on, that's our economy, Larry. You can't mean that. Military, that's a defense. You can't mean that. Yeah, I do. Even with that. If we want to fix this country, internally and externally, it's all about trust. It's all about respect. It's all about those things. Giving it first and hoping you get back. That doesn't mean you surrender yourself. When I said bare my throat, I didn't mean that literally, right? I meant that figuratively, obviously, right? So I don't want to set us up in a position where we're going to get destroyed. Of course not. But in reality, if you look at our country, our biggest threats are not external. They keep saying that China's our biggest threat. China's not our biggest threat. China's a threat. True. Not our biggest threat's us. We destroying ourselves are far more dangerous than anything China could ever do. Right? That's why the goal of outside entities has always been to sow discontent within us, because that's their best weapon, is us fighting each other. They can't take us out. They can annoy us. They can attack us. They can bother us, but they can't destroy us. That right now at this moment in time is impossible. Can we destroy ourselves? Oh, yes, we can. Oh, yes, we can. That's our biggest problem. So I'll go even further. I'll go further on with military or even trade. Let's go to military first. You've heard me many times say, first thing I'm going to do, declare victory in all our wars and end them and walk away. Now, whenever I say that, people always go, Larry, come on. You're going to walk away from all our wars? Come on. There's people fighting. They want to kill us. They want to destroy us. They want to bomb us. Yeah, that's true, accurately. Most of it because we bomb them. But still, you're right. They want to bomb us. So what will happen if we leave? If we walk away? Just, to quote Humongous, just walk away. Some of you know what I'm talking about, right? You just walk away, pack up, declare victory. We won! Have a little parade, I guess, in Broadway, and go home. Bring our troops home. Put them on the border for now. Leave them in their bases for now until their contracts run out, and then let them go home. Or let some re-enlist, whatever, but let most of them go home when their contracts are out. Do that. But Larry, they might attack us. It's possible, but it doesn't happen. I would ask you, do we have any examples of this? Yes, we do. Vietnam. We spent, 15 years total? I think 10 years total in Vietnam. 15 if you count other stuff we've done, but 10 years fighting in Vietnam. 10 years fighting in Vietnam. We lost about 60,000 Americans dead. Who knows how many? Wounded. 100,000, 200,000. When you add PTSD, 300,000. How many did we lose? Who knows? So many to that. Suicide, all kind of horrible problems. Then we came home. We literally just packed up and left. Where were all the Vietnam people coming to fight us and attack us and destroy us? Where were all those people? We dropped more bombs on Vietnam than we did on Germany in World War II. They didn't all of a sudden come charging and attacking us. They didn't start bombing us. They didn't do that. Not at all. What happened when Al-Qaeda, ISIS, when ISIS was controlling parts of Syria and Iraq? Remember that? Everything collapsed and ISIS had their own caliphate there. What happened to that? You know what happened? There were almost no terrorist attacks. Why? They were too busy governing. And they did that poorly because their entire system's garbage. So their country collapsed. The best that we could have done is left them alone. Oh, you got a caliphate? Good luck. Larry, we can't have a caliphate in the Middle East. We already have one. It's called Saudi Arabia. We've already got one. And we're allies with them. So it could happen. You walk away. What would happen if we left the Middle East? Well, then, Larry, the Russians will step in. Good. The Chinese will step in. Good. Then they can fight in the Middle East for 20 or 30 years. Good. Maybe Afghanistan, Larry, the Iranians will step in. Good. Let them fight in Afghanistan for 20 years. What do I care? Walk away. Walk away. When we walk away, they won't believe it. They won't believe we walked away until we actually stay away. And things will happen and we'll go, good luck. I hope you can find the justice that you want in your own country the way you want to find it. And the argument I get all the time is, but Larry, they'll go back to war and people will die. There's war now. They're dying now. The difference is those people aren't deciding their own fate. Someone else is. That's the wrong part. Did we forget we had a Revolutionary War? We had a Civil War. We fought and decided our own fate. But Larry, the French helped us. Yeah, one, because we asked them. That's number one. And two, what happened to the French after that? Yeah, revolution, dead king, the Napoleonic Wars crushed France. France was never the same again after Napoleon. Yeah, them helping us out wasn't in their best interest at all. They thought it was. It really wasn't. It wasn't. And we asked for it. So that argument doesn't fly when it comes to the Middle East. Let them do what they must do. Let them have their own civil wars when and how they want to do it. Canada became a country without war. We became a country with war. Both are the right answer. We chose our way. They chose theirs. Both are the right answer for each individual country. And the Middle East will become countries in the way they want to become them, how they want to become them. Whether that includes war or not is up to them, not up to us. I'm not done. Pull out of South Korea. Totally. Remove out of South Korea. Once we end the wars, that's the first thing. End all the wars, pull everybody back. Once we pull them back, you will watch over time, they'll stop being mad at us. Vietnam's perfect example. ISIS, perfect example. Right? Once we left, they didn't come after us at all. When did we get attacked on 9/11? When we had troops in Saudi Arabia after the Iraq War. When we don't have troops in countries, they don't attack us. Why? They attack themselves. The reason why they want us there is so they can fight us, so they can raise troops for their side. But once we're gone, they're going to fight their own internal wars. They want the same thing we want. Changes. Give it a year or two. Once that's done, pull out of South Korea. Totally. Pack up, pull out. Every troop, all of them, out, gone. But Larry, North Koreans will come over the border and attack them. No, they won't. They'll nuke them. No, they won't. Because once we pull out of South Korea, once that happens, China won't care about Korea anymore. The reason why China doesn't want to allow North Korea to unite with South Korea is because then China would have our troops on their borders. North Korea is literally a buffer state for them. We know this from the first time we fought the Korean War. It's exactly what they used it for. That's where they kept it. But once our troops are gone, the Chinese are happy to have better trading partners. They want better trading partners. Done. But I'm still not done. Doesn't mean that it goes away automatically. Immediately then, go to Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un, right? That's one, right? Yeah, I'm sorry. Kim Jong-un, right? Go to him and say, hey, I know you're a dictator. I know you've stolen billions of dollars from your family, from your country. Take whatever, $5 billion, insert amount of number. Take that. And anybody who you want to take out of your country, whatever it is. And why don't you head to China, buy some land outside of Shanghai or something, and live your life on a cool villa on the South China Sea. How about something like that? You pick the place. Why don't you go do that instead? China, help us broker the deal. Why don't you agree with that? China will go 100%. He would move. How do I know that? Idi Amin did that. Other dictators have done that. We used to do that before. He packs up, goes to whatever, Take your money. You won. It's fine. You won. You win the dictator win game. Take your money. Go to South China Sea. Live the rest of your life on the beach with, all your sycophants that you've paid. Fine. Enjoy. Now there's no leadership in North Korea. What will happen? They'll unite. And we don't have to be involved. They'll figure out how to unite. Why? It's their country. And will it be tough? Of course it will be. But they're Koreans. It's their country. They'll figure it out, and they'll go through the problems they need to go through. They'll do it. How do we know this? Again, am I making this up? No, the Germans did it. They figured out. Here's how we're going to put it together. They basically had a Soviet bloc country and an American-backed Western society, and they merged. And they figured out how to do it. Was it perfect? Of course not. Were there problems? Of course not. But they figured out how. We did after the Civil War. Was it perfect? Not even close. But it was our country, and we figured it out. And the Koreans can figure it out. The Germans figured it out. They will figure it out. It's their country. This sounds so simple because it is. It's just not easy. And it will take time. And it'll be messy. But it's the only long-term solution. Trusting that people will eventually do the right thing with their own country in the way they should do it. Everything I'm talking about now to actually fix this country's foreign policy, internal policy, cultural policy, financial institutions is all about trust. And it's not easy. And I hear no one talking about it. No one. No one at all. It is the actual answer. Imagine if we did this. Pull out of Germany. Pull out of Japan. Pull out of all these countries. Bring all our troops home. Phase it, obviously. And we've made agreements with some of these countries. We want to honor those agreements. If we, agreed to be there for 5 more years or something, then we stay for the 5 years. But that's it. There's no more. They know it. They see it. They can fix their economy up. They can decide what they can do with the land once we pack up and leave the base. We can now, just draw down effectively and not just discharge people as soon as they come home. We can have them finish out their contracts. Everyone's contract gets fulfilled and then done. We don't want to break our contracts. We are libertarians. We agree with contracts. We make the contract, we agree, and then we're out. You could change how America's seen across the board within 10 years, maybe within 5, but surely within 10. But Larry, some people want to kill us. They want to kill us now. Hasn't changed. But after this, they have no reason to want to kill us. Now the rest of the world might actually go, stop trying to kill these Americans. Now they're like, go kill Americans. Good. Maybe they'll start saying, stop. They're not doing nothing to you. Leave them alone. But what about Iran? They want to kill us. What about Iran getting a nuclear weapon? Why wouldn't they want to get a nuclear weapon? Korea got one, and Korea gets what it wants. Why wouldn't Iran want to get one? I have an idea. Let's make a world where they don't want to get one. Larry, that's stupid. Of course they want to get one. Why doesn't Germany have nuclear weapons? Japan. You tell me those countries can't get nuclear weapons? Of course they can. Of course they can. Tell me there aren't enough German scientists and Japanese scientists who are able to, and they don't have the money to get nuclear weapons? Of course they can. We've made a world where they don't have to. One of the reasons is because we're there, right? Pull it out, make them feel safe. If they feel safe, they will have nuclear weapons. That's how it works. So if we stop trying to attack and take over the Iranian government, they might not want to get nuclear weapons. If they do want to get nuclear weapons, it won't be against us. It'll be against Saudi Arabia. So maybe they'll have to start talking now. Note, when both we and the Russians, or the Soviet Union at the time, had nuclear weapons, we didn't fight. We only had proxy wars. We didn't fight each other. And now China, we don't even have proxy wars anymore. Now we fight. We don't even fight China militarily, right? We won Cold War I against Russia, right? Because that was a proxy war battle. We were able to draw them down through attrition, through multiple proxy wars. But now Chinese don't even fight us. Cold War II against China, they're not even trying to fight proxy wars. It's only via the markets. And we still think we're fighting Cold War against the Russians. We're about building big military. It ain't about that anymore. This isn't 1983. It's 2020. Cold War II is not about building up bombs and stuff. Cold War II is all about the markets. It's all about intellectual property. It's a whole whole different answer. We're still fighting the last war. Trust that the Iranians, the Cubans, the North Koreans, all those people will eventually act in their own best interest, which is trade. That's their best interest. Eventually that will happen. Will it be right away? Of course not. But it's the only long-term solution that we have. Let me grab a couple of comments here. So hold on. Larry, King Cuomo, Carmen de Blasio, and Chris Cuomo should start a band called the Three Fredos. That's good. Thank you. Charles, you were great. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate that. Yes. Hi, Larry. When's the next opportunity to vote Cuomo out? 2022 is the next one. Yes. Republicans and libertarians just want to be left alone. Liberals love to regulate or force their beliefs. No, Republicans seem to jump on that bandwagon too, my friend. Maybe not as much as Democrats, but they jump on it too. They absolutely do. Yes. Communication failure is the very base of human conflict. Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Remember, conflict is almost never logical. Conflict is emotional. And you might go, well, how can that be possible? Feelings get hurt. People don't understand. Absolutely. Yes, it is emotional. You're right. Pushing hard as always, Larry, for governor and local libertarians. We can't slow down. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. Larry, when people ask me who is the most brutal dictator in world history, my answer is Magic King Cuomo and his ugly leprechaun cousin, Governor Phil Murphy of New Jersey. Time to cancel these two a-holes. He's a selfish, bad guy. I'm not sure if I'd call brutal. Maybe. I'm not sure. No, I don't think he's that bad. Not when you look at others. No, I mean, for our country, yes, right? If you say brutal dictator in modern day America, meaning it's relative, I might go there. But in the world, no, I can't go there. Our current town supervisor blames the public instead of himself constantly, all the time. Yes, the townspeople and I call him out, and he gets so incredibly defensive. It's like watching Cuomo, Obama, Trump, and every single politician who refuses to take the blame. Yes, absolutely. Are you from Messina? I am not. I am actually I was born in Manhattan, raised in the Bronx, and then raised on Long Island out of a place called North Great River, which is right next to Central Islip on the South Shore of Suffolk County. And now I live in Queens. Kim Jong-un, Xi Jinping, and Vladimir Putin on no prize bulls. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Hello, I'm a 17-year-old libertarian and innovating, aspiring politician. Can I start by working with you on your campaign trail? Yes, but I'm not running for anything yet. I will announce in summer of next year whether I'm running or not. And if I am running, I'm happy to have you aboard. And I'm happy to support Jarrow Farms. Yes, absolutely. All right. In Seminole County, Florida, the county tax collector got audited only after he was charged with sex trafficking and slander. Wow. He tried to create a fake pedophile complaint online about his political opponents. Wow. That when they audited his government Amex, he had groceries, dinners, and hotels charged to it. Well, there we go. There we go. Look at that. Absolutely. Yes, you remember it was indeed Mad Max Humongous. Yes, he's the one who says, just walk away. That's exactly right. Yes, 100%. Thank you for that. You picked that one up. And it's unfolding before our eyes, helpless because of politicians that were giving control of all decision making. Yes. Again, this is the stuff that drives me crazy. It is everywhere. It is everywhere. Middle East is the worst PvP zone. Yes, absolutely. Yep. As someone who is 1/16th Jewish, I fully support the nation of Israel 100%. You know, I got to tell you, when people ask me about Israel, and they ask me questions like, do you support Israel? I support Israel like I support any of our allies. I don't take it as a special relationship as many people do. I don't. And some people get angry at that, but I don't. Not like I prefer Palestinians or something like that. I don't. I want people to be able to run their own countries and defend themselves as they see fit. And I think Israel should defend itself as it sees fit, whatever that is, right? I'm not mad when they do things that, that are in their best interest. And I think their neighbors should act accordingly too. And they should be able to live, peacefully with each other. If they can't, it's not our job to do so. Now, to be forward, I know there are many Jewish people in America who feel that Israel is their homeland. I don't have a problem with them going back to their homeland if things go badly and they want to support their homeland to physically defend it, or if they want to send money to their homeland. I don't care. It's up to you. It's your money and your life. And if you feel that you need to go to Israel to do that, I'm okay. I'm not okay with every American having to spend extra money on Israel versus any other ally. Or if we have agreements with our allies, we should keep our agreements and, of course, begin to pull those away to the best of our ability also. But I see Israel as any other ally. We want to support our allies. I'm in. And allow people to run their countries as they see fit. Cuomo and de Blasio speaking together today was more than I could bear, especially when de Blasio said he understands the pain of the whole state. No, he doesn't. He would get lost going north on a Tappan Zee Bridge. Yeah. According to de Blasio, anything like north of the Bronx is basically Buffalo. No difference. Yes. No difference. So, all right, let's get out of South Korea. We can touch any country in the world, so we don't need troops there. Thank you. Let me go further. I'm glad you brought that piece up, right? The reality of it is, what are we afraid of? Are we afraid that some country is going to invade us, crush our cities, destroy our nation in some way, capture our capital and take over our president or something like that? That's fantasy. That's sci-fi movie stuff for aliens or something. It's not going to happen. What country could possibly invade us? Canada? Mexico? Stop. Can't be Canada. There's like 9 Canadians. There's no way. I'm teasing you, Canada. I love you, Canada. I'm teasing you. But, there's no way that Canada's going to attack us or Mexico is going to attack us. It's not going to happen. The Chinese physically can't. The Russians physically can't. They're not going to come over and attack us. It's not going to happen. Well, Larry, they might nuke us. Why in the world would they nuke us? Any country that nukes us, any country, is going to be wiped off the face of the earth. You all know this. You all know this. The whole world. That's why we didn't have a nuclear war with the Soviet Union for, 40 years that the Cold War, 50 years the Cold War existed, give or take? Because it wasn't going to happen. Of course not. Of course not. North Korea's going to go, I'll show you, America, now nuke Hawaii. No, if you nuked Hawaii, they're not going to. But if they did, there'd be no North Korea. There'd be nothing left. Nothing left. And if somehow Kim Jong-un survived in some way, shape, or form, our Navy SEALs would be on his ass so fast, he'd be dead. And he knows it, and all his family, they're all dead. There's no way there's no survival issue. They would only nuke in retaliation or anger. So if we don't nuke anybody, we're not getting nuked. So there's no realistic way that we're going to actually be attacked in a conventional or nuclear way. It's not going to happen. So why do we put troops in places like this? Capturing land is almost not important anymore. How many wars do you see where people capture massive amounts of land? Hardly ever. What's more valuable? Intellectual property. Far more valuable. Far more valuable. Internet property is far more valuable than actual land nowadays for most nations. Not for individuals, obviously. Individuals still want land. But as a nation state, what do you care if you're a physically bigger country or not? What if we annexed Mexico? So, do we all of a sudden become greater if we annex more countries? No. If anything, if you get more people, you sometimes get a bigger burden sometimes, right? Depending upon how big your welfare state is. You might get a bigger burden. What value is that? You think the Chinese want more people? Oh, we only got 1.7 billion. Got to have 2 billion. Of course not. I mean, they literally installed a one-child per family rule with forced abortions and sterilizations because they didn't want more bodies. So I don't know what the advantage is. So why are we doing this? If we want our military to be powerful, it needs to have 3 things and 3 things only. 3. 1, you want to keep nuclear weapons so that we can keep a deterrent. You do want to have that, right? Our current nuclear triad is bombers, ICBMs, and submarines. If someone were to tell me you want to get rid of one of those, maybe I'd be open to talk about that idea. I don't know if that's true, but I'd be open to just getting rid of one of them. But enough to blow people up, it's fine. We're good. That's all we need. That's 1. 2, we need special forces, special forces, special forces. We already have the best in the world. Let's get more of the best in the world. Let's get more, Marine Corps Force Recon, Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, more and more and more of them, special ops, more and more of those. Why? Because for the big countries who have nuclear weapons takes care of those guys, right? Those are done, keeps them in check. But what about for the players who aren't national players? The Osama bin Ladens of the world, those types. They're not nation states. They're not those types of players, right? Putin says, oh, I don't know who the Russians, I don't know. They're not state people, they're whatever. Awesome. That's what we got, Navy SEALs. And they're going to come and start taking people out. Like we did with Osama bin Laden. We should have done that immediately. There should have been no invasion of Iraq, no invasion of Afghanistan, just use the special forces. So you're a non-state player, yeah, you'll be dead in a year. And so will all the people who supported you. They'll be dead in a year. Because our Navy SEALs, our Marine Force Recon, our Army Rangers will take care of them. Got to have that. That takes care of your non-state players. And the last one is those state players who would do something non-nuclear. And that's what we have to have, cyber. And this we are in trouble with. We've got the nuclear one down already. We have the best special forces. We just don't have enough of them, so we need more of them. But the one we're actually struggling with is cyber. We are behind on this as a nation. We need to have very powerful attack and defense when it comes to cyber. This is how you deal with someone who, like, say we find out the Russians are, I don't know, something like attacking or bothering our elections. Okay, great. We can't nuke them, and we're not going to invade them. What do? Well, I have an idea. You mess with our elections, and we use our cyber attack to shut your country down. How about that? I'm not going to invade you. I'm just going to take your grid offline. I'm just going to say, oh, you have how many nuclear power plants? You want 2 more Chernobyls this week? I'll give it to you. Stop messing with us, or somehow clean up 2 Chernobyls every month for the next 6 months. How about that? That's the kind of thing we should be able to do, both offensive and defensive. You have those 3 things, America is physically safe. That's it. America will be physically safe from outside attacks. Internally, we're still going to have problems. And will there be minor attacks from terrorists? And that probably, I assume. But if we pull out, as I said, no, we won't even have terrorist attacks. You can make America safe just like that, retaining a military, a small military, retaining cyber, and retaining nuclear power. Man, you can cut our budget literally you can cut our military budget by 50% easily by doing that, as you begin to draw things down. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. Absolutely. Is Kim Jong-un's sister running North Korea? Haven't heard anything about Kim Jong-un recently. Maybe, but the rumor was he faked his death to test his enemies. I don't know if that's true. That was the rumor I heard, that Kim Jong-un actually faked his death to see who would try to take over, who was loyal to him and who wasn't. And then, of course, he offed those who weren't loyal to him, which is a brilliant move if that's true. It might be a story, but if it's true, it's amazing. So, yeah. So, all right. Yeah, first he was dead, then he wasn't. Yes, that's what I heard, that he was doing that. I heard it was all that concept. Yes. So, all right. Let's see. Larry, that's stupid. Which one's stupid? You got to tell me which one is stupid. What did I say that was stupid? Yes. We need a world without nuclear weapons. I would agree with that conceptually. I think that's right conceptually. I don't know how we make that happen, Andrew. I don't know how we make that happen. The way I could imagine making it happen is by having cyber capability that is so devastating that it could literally stop nukes from being launched, and that it could create even more damage to an economy and society than nuclear weapons could. I mean, that was one of the things they were actually talking about creating. Was it neutron bombs that would kill the people but not destroy the town or something like that? So I think maybe that would be the only way that could happen. I think you're right. I would love that world. I'm with you. But do we just disarm? Again, when I said bare my throat, I didn't mean actually. I meant kind of figuratively, right? I don't want to put myself in a situation to where we get nuked, right? So I do think I like the concept, but how do we get there? My gut tells me cyber defense is how we get there. How about we trust that communities will be able to manage themselves and their problems instead of paying bureaucrats to make laws for the common good, and further enabling division? I think this foreign policy talk would go a long way here. I agree. And I wish that someone like Biden would be hearing me, but he's old school. He's going to fall back to Cold War thought processes. I don't think he's going to hear it at all. I wish he would. I think his policy is going to be closer to John Bolton. Michael Bolton, that's the singer. John Bolton, than Pompeo. If that makes any sense. Yeah. Let people feel safe. That's the magic only trust can achieve. Absolutely, yes. 100%. I totally agree. So that's the part I wanted to bring up, and I wanted to make sure I was talking about that. I'm on board with what you're saying, but I do have a small moral dilemma. Okay. What about things like Uyghur Muslims in China or the Jews in Nazi Germany? Don't we have an obligation to protect human rights? I know this is a rare case. This is a great question, and I love this. And here's my answer to that. When we have places like that, Uyghurs, Jews in Nazi Germany, there are 2 ways we can handle this. The first one is be exceptionally open to those specific refugees for our nation. Be very open. Make extra rules and rooms for them to come to us, right? So we did exactly the opposite for that with the Jews in Nazi. The Jews came to us. We went, we don't want you. Go back to Germany. And we sent them right back to camps. Instead of saying, no, come. Oh, my God, you're being persecuted? Come to us. Then those Jews or those Germans in the case, I don't know if when When the Jews were first leaving Germany, they still felt like they were Germans then. I don't know if they did afterwards, but they felt like they were Germans. So he said, you German refugees, come to us. You can grow here, make money here, and go back and change your country if you want to, or use our place to make money so that you can pay the rebels in your country or whatever the case may be. That's the first part of it. That isn't the only part, Nate. That's the first part. Be more open to refugees of that. You might say, well, Larry, they can't all get here. That's true, which is why it's not the only thing. But that should be the first thing. Second, encourage if Americans want to go physically to help, that they should. I'm serious. If Americans want to go help, we should allow them if they want to, right? If Americans can get there, obviously there will be Americans who are either, in this case, of either German or Jewish descent in the case of that, or Chinese or Muslim descent, for those in China, who want to go there and try to help out. Encourage them. Good luck. Go. What can I do to help? How can the American State Department assist you in helping that to make that happen? How can we do that? But I'm still not done. Be open with the American people on what's happening with that, so that the average American consumer can act accordingly. All of those countries or states need people to buy their goods to make money. If all of a sudden Americans go, you know what? I'm not okay with this. I'm not gonna buy their products. I'm not gonna service them. I'm not gonna do the things they want me to do. I think that's how you make it work. Otherwise, I'm deciding as a country to do things. One of the reasons why we had a blind eye to Nazi Germany was because Germans are the largest percentage of ethnic background people in America. There was an American Nazi party. It was called the Bund. For those of you who don't know, I have German ancestry, so I know this stuff. So yes, there were a lot of Americans in 1930, 1920 who were like, Hitler, not a bad guy. I know Jews. Who cares about those Jews? There's tons of anti-Semitism in America too. So the country couldn't do it, right? The nation couldn't do it as a nation. So because there were too many people who had money and who voted and thought they were okay. There were many Americans who during World War II of German descent packed up and went and fought for the Germans. People don't talk about that. That was a thing. Let me ask you something for you guys who know this. I'll give you a quick trivia question. When did America declare war on Germany in World War II? Yeah, for those, it's a trick question. Never. We didn't declare war on Germany. People don't know that. Well, we fought the Nazis. They declared war on us. If you remember the actual speech that FDR gave, it was a day that will live in infamy. I want you to declare war on the Empire of Japan. We only declared war on Japan because Japan bombed us. We didn't declare war on Germany. We were like, oh yeah, killing Jews, whatevs. Invading France, yeah, tough on you guys. That's what we were doing. So we weren't, this idea that we have a moral dilemma, we didn't care about the Jews in Nazi Germany. If we did, we would have done something. We didn't. So it wasn't the issue. So I appreciate it. What I'm saying is we should have been more aggressive in that, letting people know what's going on. When it comes to China, same thing. Can you imagine if America actually got together and said, you know what, Walmart, most of your stuff comes from China. We're going to purposely, just literally not buy stuff from you for 3 months until the Chinese stop treating the Uyghurs bad. Watch what happened. Then open up our hearts to Uyghurs. The more you do that, the Chinese go, you know what? Do I really want to lose 3 months, 1 full quarter of income from Walmart? All right, Uyghurs, I'll leave you alone. You might think it's that simple. It isn't simple. It is. Do that and things will change. Is it perfect? No, it is not perfect. Will there be horrible genocides? Yes, there still will be that. But I think this is what Americans can do. And if we do it constantly, it becomes the norm. We don't have to wait for government to do something. We can do something. I hope that makes sense. Too late. You cannot undo nuclear weapons. That's my worry, Shelly. I'm with you on that one. That is my worry. Tommy, how are you, sir? Glad you're home. This is the new cybersecurity. This is the new battlefield. Yes, 100%. You are correct, Tommy. This is new battlefield. And sadly, as you know better than most, we are not ready. America, this is where we suffer cyber offense and defense. Here's where we're not ready. Nuclear, we got down. Special forces, best in the world. We could use more of them, but best in the world. Cyber, we're struggling on this one. We have to work on this piece. You're completely right, Tommy. Yes. So trade is the only long-term solution. Yes. but we need eyes on the short and long and the midterm. Agreed. Yes. As long as we're all moving towards that long-term solution. Yes, absolutely. I would love your thoughts on Harris since he is eventually taking over. She seems scary to me. Yeah, scary to me too. I actually fear Kamala Harris more than I fear Biden. And a lot of people don't think that. I fear Harris more. I think she is more aggressive, meaner, actually more vindictive. I think she thinks that using the hammer is the only way. She used the hammer for 20 years. I think that's all she knows. She knows how to hit you over the head with a stick and not use the carrot. I think she's also far more partisan than Biden is. I still think Biden's that partisan. Like, he knows Mitch McConnell. They're like friends. So I don't think Biden's as anywhere near as partisan as Harris is. So I'm with you, Michelle. I think Harris is far worse than Biden. My only hope is some of you think that that Harris is going to take over right away. She's not. Whatever their plans are, I don't know what their plans are, but whatever they are, I can guarantee you, unless Biden gets actually ill, he will be the president for at least 2 years. At least 2 years. Why? Because the Constitution says you may not be president more than 10 years, which means if Kamala is elected or steps in as president earlier than 2 years, she can only run one more time. But if he waits at least 2 years and a day, then she can be president for 2 years during Biden's presidency and then run 2 more times for 2 8-year terms, a total of 10. So that's why I don't think officially she'll come aboard before 2 years, no matter what. But I think what's actually going to happen is Biden will do his 4 years. He will give a lot of the control over to Harris in the last 2 of those years, but he will still be president. And I think she'll run in 2024, assuming that she's going to win. I really hope that she does not win. But that's what I think is going to happen. Because I think if she wins, then she's really going to think she's powerful. That's gonna feed the monster to make her even worse. So I hope that's not true. So what are your thoughts on critical race theory? I'm not 100% up on critical race theory, but I'll tell you the way it's being put out is not good. Should we as a country accept that there are a lot of racial undertones in the things that we've done, in the policies we've created? I think we should acknowledge that. Gun control was originally just racist. War on drugs was originally just racist. Its origins was in racism. I'm not making that up and do your homework. That part's true. But does that mean that everything should be looked at based upon race or slavery? No, that I don't think those two go together. And I think critical race theory goes too far in that direction. But I do think, to be forward, I'm trying to be fair here. We should accept that race has been a part of our history and it has been the origin to many of our policies. Marriage licenses to keep the races apart, right? A lot of these things are based in racism, and that part is true. And I think we can teach that history as accurate and accept that as true without having to go all the way down the road that is critical race theory. I think if we just end it, I think that's a mistake. And if we go too far, that's a mistake. For those of you who maybe want to hear how I speak about race, probably one of my most popular videos was the one I did on Juneteenth. Yeah, Juneteenth, which was, of course, June 19th of this year. You can go to my Sharpe Way Show YouTube page. I did about an hour and a half on race. And I expressed how race began, what it happened in our country, that people actually aren't naturally racist. We are naturally tribal, and that there is a difference between those two and how they've come together, and how government was responsible for many parts of our thought process based upon race. And so anyway, to answer your question, I'm not a fan of going as far as it goes. I do think we should, let me say that. I think we should acknowledge that race has been a part of our country for years, and it has been the origins of many of our policies. And we should accept that as true. And I hope it'll make people think differently, right? If you think about gun control originating because you want to keep guns out of the hands of former slaves, and that's the origin of gun control, it makes you think differently about gun control. Because sadly, when things begin racial, they will eventually affect everybody. War on drugs, war on poverty, gun control. These were all based upon racial issues, and then eventually affected everybody. So, and they were bad ideas to start, but they only affected the minorities. And we're like, good, it just punishes the minority. And then all of a sudden now, they're affecting everybody. So I think there's some value in discussing the idea of race when it comes to our policies and our laws. I do think critical race theory goes too far and makes it all about that. And I don't think it's all about that. I don't think that's true. I think there are parts of it that we tend to ignore. Let's not ignore those parts. I hope I answered your question. We should stop all trade with China. That should not be a thing that anyone decides, Brandon. That should be an individual choice that we make. We should be talking about what China does, how it has unfair trade policies, how it treats its workers and all those things. And for those Americans who care, if we are transparent and we use the bully pulpit and talk about it, then people might not buy as many Chinese goods. If they stop buying Chinese goods, trade with China would stop without us having any, top-down control over that. We would find other places to buy goods from, which I'm okay as long as you're happy with whatever you're buying. I don't mind where you get your goods from. If you want to buy them from China, go ahead. If you don't care, no worries. If you care, don't buy your goods from China if that's how you care. The problem is we are waiting for the federal government to make deals and decide things. That's the problem. The problem is we should be talking about what China's doing. And then there'll be some companies in China that will try to not do the bad things. And if there are any that can get away with it and the government finds it and sees that, and then see that those companies are still selling because you buy from those companies, those that don't, support the Uyghurs being, murdered or whatever the case may be, then the government over in China will go, wait a minute, that's how we make our cash? Let's start doing that. Because the government in China, while they are communist, they're not about communism. They're about the money. They're about the money. So if they could find a way, they would do it. The problem with this plan, Brandon, is it's not a short-term plan, right? You don't see the change tomorrow. You see the change 2, 3, 4 years from now. But it's a long-term plan that we can use again and again and again. Trump might be right that China is not pro-American. I think Trump is right in this case. China is not pro-American. I don't think it's might, in my view. I think in this case, he's right. I think China isn't pro-American. And I wouldn't expect them to be. They're not pro-American. They're pro-China. And if it makes sense to trade with America, they do. If it doesn't, they don't. Right now, it makes lots of sense to trade with America. So they do. It's what's in their best interest. I think that's the issue. So, all right. Larry needs to know that he'll have enough support before he runs. Of course, make sure you tell every New Yorker who you trust. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes. Let them figure it out. Absolutely, they will. And it might be messy. But if it's messy, it's still theirs. It's still theirs to be messy. Absolutely. So, no other country needs to invade us. We're destroying ourselves. I wish you were wrong. That was my biggest point. My biggest point is we absolutely are. We're doing that. We're destroying ourselves, right? We have to not destroy ourselves. Larry has proved that not all heroes wear capes. Thank you. One of the most influential voices for liberty. I hope we keep doing that. Yes, I hope so. If I became POTUS, Larry would be Secretary of Defense. Andrew, I want Secretary of State. I'm kidding. I'll take whatever you give me, brother. I'll take Secretary of Defense. Absolutely. Whatever you need me, I'm in. Andrew, if you win presidency, we'd have a better country. I hope you do. And then you need me as Secretary of Defense, I'm in. As they always say, whatever the president needs me when he asks you to serve, I'll serve. I mean that, Andrew. You in? What do you need? Count me in. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. All right. See if I can keep going. Spread liberty to your age, to people your age. Yes, I think that's a good idea. I think that the youth need to know that. For those of you who get upset at the youth not being as libertarian as you'd like them to be, or being more socialist than you'd like them to be, please don't be angry. That's all I'm saying. Please don't be angry. The youth doesn't know any better, and think about how they've been raised and what environment they've grown up in. If they're 30 years old now, as an example, they came out of school into a bad environment from the first crash, and then now the second COVID crash has hit them again. And they're saying, I feel cheated. I've been told my whole life, this is how things are supposed to work, and it doesn't work that way. This system doesn't work. hear these people yelling, my system will work, social system will work. See, get free stuff, it'll work. I get it. It seems attractive. It sounds good. It sounds fair, and it sounds good. Let's not be angry at them. Let's instead give them better answers. If we give them better answers, they will come to us. If we don't give them better answers, they go back to what they heard. They go back to what sounds good. They keep doing it. Absolutely. So the Panama and Grenada invasion should never have happened. My dad, who fought in both, said they were clustered. They were. That's correct. I was in the military during Panama, and I was in the Marine Corps during Panama. And there were pictures taken of guys who, they were artillerymen, and they sent them into the ground because they didn't have enough infantry. I mean, it was a mess. Grenada 2, artillerymen went down when it went in. I mean, just all kind of stuff. Ground pounders went all over the place. It was not great. I agree. And what did it do? Panama wasn't better because of it. Neither was Grenada. So I agree completely. But look, I know why we did Grenada. I get why. I'm not saying it was correct. I'm saying I get why. Reagan wanted to get a win. After Vietnam, the military, for those of you who may know, that have family or friends, or you were part of the military in the early 80s, late 70s, after Vietnam, our military was really distraught. I mean, there was rampant drug use, all kind of problems. People didn't want to join, all kind of issues, racial issues, insert this. There was all kind of things. Our military was in trouble. And getting a couple wins does make the military feel like, oh, we can win again. Oh, we can be strong again. We can do this. I mean, after the first Gulf War, oh my God, military felt like champions, right? We had won Panama, Grenada, and now we had won the first Gulf War. Oh my God. So I get why he did it. I wouldn't have done it, but I understand it. So I'm saying, yes. Our government should not sell arms to other governments. I agree with that, Joe. I think our government shouldn't be selling arms. I think arms dealers should sell arms. I think weapon manufacturers should sell weapons because they make weapons. I don't know why the government has to be involved. And that may sound crazy. Larry, you're going to let, whatever, some companies sell M16s or AR-15s to Germany or to China? Yes. Yes. If they don't buy M16s, then they're going to buy AK-47s. Buy ours. Why not buy ours? I'm serious. Buy ours. I don't care. Why am I involved? Whatever trade deal we have is the deal that we negotiated. Follow that trade deal. Good luck. Good luck. Well, they might use the M16s against us. So now they use AK-47s? And we didn't get any money for it? But what if we pull out of the countries? Then they can't use it against us at all. They can use it against their own people they're fighting if they want to, which they're going to use it anyway. But if we create a safer environment for them all, there'll be less war. People say, well, people are always going to fight, always going to have wars. Not true. They're not always going to have wars. Will people individually fight? Yes. We will resort to violence when we're angry. It's what happens far too often. But will countries always go to war? No. They go to war when that makes sense. Or they don't go to war. Sorry, when they think it makes sense. I should be clear on that. They go to war when they think it makes sense. If we can tell them it doesn't make sense, they won't go to war. It literally is that simple, right? People tell me all the time, well, Larry, how do you know that? I'll tell you why. Look at street crime. Street crime, if you take out the war on drugs, right, the drug trade, street crime has gone down. Why? Because people are nicer? No, because people don't carry cash. It's not as lucrative to knock someone over the head and grab their wallet. What do you need? A bunch of credit cards are going to cancel. It doesn't work anymore. People aren't carrying cash. Except where? In the black market, because we've made a war on drugs. So there's a black market. So lots of violence there because people are carrying cash. So you change the environment to where street crime doesn't matter. Where's your crime now? Cyber crime. Now the crime, to Tommy, saying it again, Tommy, you hit it again. Now the crime, cyber crime. Now it's, I'm going to steal your identity and grab your credit cards offline because that makes sense to do. So that's the violence they choose. They choose the violence that works, that makes sense for them. The crime that makes sense for them. So when traditional, conventional wars don't make sense, people don't do traditional wars. Well, they don't make sense. So buy all the M16s you want. I'm good. Walk softly and carry a big stick. Yes, Teddy was correct. Absolutely. Yes, that was the one neutron bombs back in 1980s. Exactly right, Dave. Thank you for that. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. All right. Let's see if I can keep going here. Grab something. A lot of stuff. I appreciate this, guys. What's so controversial about the phrase Blue Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, save both, end the drug war? Yes. Blue and black lives both matter, save both, end the drug war. Look at that. Joe, knocking out of the park. Love that. Knocking out of the park. I love that. Yes. So, Larry for cabinet. Yes, except I don't think Biden wants me in his cabinet. I'd be happy to serve. Joe Biden, if your people are watching, I'm happy to serve. Absolutely. Yes, Joe got it right. 1942. Yes, that's the last time we declared war, and it was actually on Germany's allies. Not Finland. We did not declare war on Finland. We declared war on Bulgaria, Romania, and Hungary. That was the last time we declared war against Romania, Hungary. Thank you, Joe. You win the prize, which is acknowledgement. Well done. Great. Wasn't Hitler's Time Magazine of the Year 2 years in a row? Yes, Time Magazine's Man of the Year used to be someone who affected the world. We changed that because, believe it or not, cancel culture. In the year 2002, they were going to make Osama bin Laden Man of the Year. We were like, you can't do that. He's not American. And they did that instead of going, thanks to Osama bin Laden, all of a sudden the world's changed. The world and our country changed with 9/11, and it's because of Osama bin Laden. But we had to make instead whatever Bush or whatever we made the Man of the Year that year. But yes, Time's Man of the Year used to matter. It doesn't anymore. But it used to matter, and it was someone who influenced or affected the world. You got to admit, 9/11 affected the entire world. Osama bin Laden affected the entire world. It wasn't a bad choice in my view, but they didn't ask me. So yes. Entertainment is important. Hollywood is actually with big government puppets. We need to support a few that stand and encourage more to speak up. I agree. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. If I would become president, I would be concerned I could end up like Kennedy. I believe Kennedy also warned to rein in the warmongers. Every president after Kennedy has supported all conflicts. It's a valid point, and people don't always remember that Kennedy is the guy who replaced Eisenhower. Yes, absolutely. But Kennedy did some stuff too. Kennedy fought in World War II, right? Yeah, Kennedy fought in World War II. The Navy, I think it was the Navy. So yeah, he had been in war himself. I don't know if he saw combat. I'm actually not sure if he saw combat, but I know he was in during World War II. So yeah, I think it's right. Look, one of the parts I need to bring up here. When you begin to deconstruct the military-industrial complex, you have to realize something. Government is always two things: a monopoly and a jobs program. Always those two things. The reason why the military-industrial complex is so powerful is because it's a massive jobs program. It's a massive jobs program. Think about how things work in this situation, right? Think about the idea of, when we give foreign aid to countries, we give whatever, $50 billion to country A. The leaders of that country take $10 billion, put in their pocket. Then they take $40 billion and they buy weapons from us. It's a jobs program. Someone's going to make those weapons. So foreign aid's a job program. We have to put people out there so we can buy new tanks. Jobs program. Make new planes. Make new planes. It's a jobs program. So that's why, if you remember what I said about you start pulling back the troops slowly, you make sure they stay employed until the end of their contract. You just discharge them when they come home. Unemployment. Keep them Marines or soldiers, sailors, till their contracts are out. Then let them discharge them when that time comes. Absolutely. And at the same time, open up those new markets. Open up North Korea. Open up Cuba. Open up Iran. What does that mean? New markets? We need people to go in those new markets. People who maybe been in the Middle East, stationed in Korea, who go there and start, guess what? All these new ideas with these new ideas and concepts, selling stuff, creating trade deals. You get the people who work in the military-industrial complex to now work in international trade. It is a natural connection. You're moving people over. The same people will come over. The jobs will still be there. It just now won't be in the military-industrial complex. They'll be in selling to new markets. You do that, and I think you limit the chances that you become a Kennedy. But the issue is you mess with somebody's money. Yeah, people die for that. Don't mess with somebody's money. Find a way for them to still make money. Absolutely. My German relatives in Germany hid and fed Jewish refugees at their house. They never got caught. Talk about being courageous and brave. Yeah, my my grandfather on my mother's side wouldn't shoot prisoners, so they sent him to the Russian front, and he died there. So that's what he got. He actually died. He died from. He actually didn't die. That's not mistake. I'm mistaken. He didn't die there. He went to the. He got caught in the Russian front. Was put in a Russian prison camp. Didn't get released till 1948, even though the war ended in 1945. The Russians kept him as a prisoner and many millions of Germans kept him as prisoners. 3 years later, sent him home. He died of war wounds. He died of war wounds 4 years after he was captured. So that was his result. So yeah, I understand that completely, absolutely. Actually, we did declare war on Germany and Italy after they declared war on us. Yeah, I guess we did. If you look at that, yes, but we didn't. We did after they declared war on us. We were already at war. So I guess officially there was a declaration. Was it December 10th? Not mistaken, something like that. Officially, but not in reality. When they declared war on us, we just said. They said we're at war, and we went, yeah. I guess so. So yeah, absolutely. So thank you for that. But these kind of conversations are tough to have, right? About what we should be doing in trust and things like that, what really matters to you. So I want to ask you, if you want to have those conversations, watch this. Hey, Larry Sharpe, host of the Sharpe Way, and I know what you're thinking. Election's over, holiday season is here. I've got to have conversations with family and friends after this. I know it can be tough. How do you restart that? How do you reconnect? It's all about respect, guys. It's about mutual respect, human respect, respect for our family and friends. Well, how do you rebuild that? How do you make that happen now? You find some common ground. How do you do that? You head on over to theadvocates.org, take the world's smallest political quiz. It's 1 minute, just 1 minute. You take that 1 minute, all of a sudden now, you now share that, send it to your friends. You start talking about things that matter to you, not about people you love, not about people you hate, but instead about issues that matter to you. Bring that back, have that common ground, find that mutual respect, find that human respect. Take this test and share it, theadvocates.org. That guy's smart. You should listen to that guy. Absolutely. Yes. So let me keep going if I can here. I actually pity Biden. I like that. That's actually pretty good. Yes, I pity him. That's a nice way of looking at it. I like that. Don't let nuclear weapons and old nuclear power scare you from the new Gen4nuclear.com. Yes, I completely agree. Gen 4 is amazing. I think it's really a great answer. I hope more people look into that. Absolutely. My family members who came here before World War II survived. Not many who stayed in Germany survived. Yes, absolutely. And America really should have been better when it came to that. And this goes back, I guess, to this critical race theory concept. I don't want to make everything about race or about slavery. I don't. I do want us to realize that we have made errors based upon bigotry. We have. One of them was not letting the Jews come into America. We didn't really have, we didn't have a reason to say no to them, but we did, right? But not just that. We said no to the Japanese too. We limited Chinese, we limited Japanese, but only because they weren't Anglo-Saxon or they weren't what we considered white. They weren't Christians. That was the reason why we did this. In this case, it wasn't because of black versus white, but we literally had, if you look, do your homework, we had rules against Japanese people coming to our country for many years. Many of them went to South America. That's one of, not the only reason at all, but it's one of the reasons why we had such a terrible relationship with Japan, and we had to go to war with them because the Japanese thought, we can't talk to the Americans. Let's just bomb them, right? That they thought that'll work. They were wrong, clearly, but they thought, we'll bomb them. That'll show them, right? So I think that was part of it, and we should be open with the things that we've done, hopefully, so they don't do them again, right? So we learn that we shouldn't do them again. I have lived in California all my life, and I personally know some people who were jailed because of her. Yes, Kamala. Yes, exactly. And the San Fran and CADA office over nonviolent cannabis offenses. Yeah, she had no problem about that. Yes. Systems are racist. Systems are not racist. People are. Not sure. Can you tell me that the system that was our immigration policies in the 1930s was not a racist system when it said literally, if you are Japanese, you may not come to our country. Isn't that racist? Even though the individual person may not care if you're Japanese or not. And particularly someone who's in the East Coast, all Japanese at that point will all come to the West Coast. Do you really care if the Japanese come? Are you anti-Japanese prior to, obviously we're talking prior to Pearl Harbor? Do you think that every American wanted blacks to be enslaved during slavery? What isn't racism? Isn't slavery because of your race, right? Which is what our slavery in America was about. Others have been about you lost a war or made the king angry or whatever, but ours was based upon race. Wouldn't that be a racist system? Wouldn't South Africa's apartheid be a racist system? I think you can have race. Wouldn't the war on drugs that tells you, you have to go into poor communities and if the person's caught with crack, they do 20 years, but cocaine, they do 6 months. Isn't that a racist system where the individual cop may not care if you're black or Hispanic at all? I think systems can be racist. I'm not saying systems are. I think systems can be racist. In fact, I think most people, the average person, we have to talk about racism. The average person sees racism as, I got a hood on and I'm ready to go, hang a black guy on a tree, right? If you say that's racist, very few Americans are racist. Minuscule percentage of Americans, if that's your definition of racist. And when most people hear racist, they think that. They think, guys got a hood on, gonna go hang black people from trees. That is a minuscule amount of Americans. Those people exist without question, but that level of racism in America is minuscule. What people mean often by racism is they're doing something that is racist. So I would rather say that the thing that you're doing could be seen as racist. The thing that you're talking about could come across as racist. Doesn't mean you're a racist, if that makes any sense. And I'm making a nuance, but I think the nuance matters. Because if I go, hey, Andrew, you're a racist. Andrew goes, what are you talking about? Shut up. I don't talk. I've lost them. If I go, Andrew, that thing you said, people could take it as racist. At least now it's a conversation. He can go, why? How? What's going on? I didn't mean it that way. Now we're talking. Something can get done if I come across that way versus go, you're a racist because you said this thing. No one's going to hear me. It doesn't change. Also, if people do things that are racist and they're in a system that encourages it, don't we want them to feel that? Don't we want, if Andrew's in I'm beating up Andrew all of a sudden. Andrew, you're racist all of a sudden, but you're totally not. But whatever, he does something that his system tells him to do. He does the thing. Maybe he's a mortgage broker and the mortgage company tell him, look, if the people come out of this neighborhood, give them this kind of mortgage. That actually happens. So they come out of this neighborhood, give them this kind of mortgage. And that happened in the 2000s like there's no tomorrow. So Andrew, being a good mortgage broker, does that. Well, that thing might be racist. Does that mean he's racist? He may not even know any better. Maybe following the system that says, if you come out of this neighborhood, then you get this kind of loan. This neighborhood is 90% black. Again, that's based on something that actually happened. I'm not making that up. That actually happens. So does that make him racist? No. Did he do something that could be racist? Yes. Let's have that conversation. Now we have a chance to make change. And maybe then Andrew goes, my God, my system's racist. Huh. I didn't even get it. I should change my system. Yeah. And then Andrew would change. You go, you know what? This is bad. We shouldn't be doing this. And he'd make a shift and he would change because he's totally not a racist. He's not, by the way, guys. I'm just saying. He was there. I beat him up. Anyway, so thank you. Yes. So I do think they can be racist. I really do think they can be racist. And I think we have to, whenever possible, try to change these things. So, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yes, Matt. I hope that was clear. I'm not about, I'm never about avoiding a topic ever. I want to be real about it to the best of my ability. I want to be as I see it. Absolutely. So, absolutely. Let's see here. My daughter became a large libertarian when she turned 18. Thank you, Byron. That's awesome. I appreciate that tremendously. I appreciate that so much. So let me keep going down here. Larry, giving Q woman an enemy is such an embarrassment. An Emmy. Sorry, an Emmy. Sorry. Look where my head was. Emmy says, it is. The only reason he deserves an Emmy is for his constant whining and complaining. We should call him our whiner in chief. Yes, but I think, you find that many of, I think, the entertainment industry was afraid of him. They thought he might become the basically the top cop of America, the attorney general, and they wanted to make sure they, definitely gave him something to keep him happy. I think it was a bribe. That's what I think. Yes. Yeah, I think that's where it is. All right. See if I can do this real fast. Why do you believe what you believe? How does being a libertarian help you and others? Oh, I like that. It's a good way of thinking it. I like that. These are great questions. Thank that. It's very good. Shelley, well done. I like that. Why did people even like Obama looking back on it? Good question. I think, and I'm guilty of this too. I think I wanted to believe. I don't look back on it as a positive thing at all. I look back on it being bamboozled. I think I wanted to believe. I think in 2008, I wanted to believe somebody could save us. And people tend to believe what they want to believe. It's just human nature, and I'm a human too. And I wanted to believe somebody could save us. And he looked different. He talked different. He was from a city. Come on. And everyone's all hyped. He's gonna change it all. He's different. It's all gonna change it all. Yeah. Within 2 years, I knew I was bamboozled and I didn't vote for him again. But I voted for him in 2008. I thought he was going to be the guy. I thought he was going to change things. I wanted to believe he could be a savior. I wasn't active politically. I wasn't part of any party. I was, for those of you who don't know, I didn't like any of the parties. I was voting for Nader and for Perot because I was like, yeah, Nader will do it because he's not them. So I was nowhere near as interested in politics as I am now. So I hadn't voted for a Democrat or Republican president in decades. My first vote for president was 1988, and I voted for George H.W. Bush. My second vote was for Clinton because I thought H.W. screwed us over, and I thought Clinton was a smart guy. He'll save us because he speaks well. Youngster. That's what I thought. Then when he just put my friends in prison, I thought, okay, that was a mistake. I got bamboozled. I was upset. So then I voted for Perot. Then I voted for Nader twice because I was like, to hell with the rest of these guys. They're all chumps. I hate them all. Then Obama came out there. Oh, Obama, this guy, he's gonna change it. He's the one for sure. Voted for him in 2008. Within 2 years, I was like, okay, bamboozled again. I'm done. I was considering not voting again. I was so just like this. Forget it. I'm just gonna run my business. I don't care about this. And then I heard Gary Johnson speak in 2012, and I'm like, that's the guy. And I jumped on Johnson's train in 2012. And ever since then, I've been part of the Libertarian Party. I joined the Libertarian Party in 2013, I think. I might have been 2012. I think I joined in 2013. So I've been a Libertarian now, 7 years now? And I supported Gary Johnson again in 2016. I voted for Joe Jorgensen in 2020. So I voted Libertarian 3 times in a row. So looking back on it, I think people liked him because he seemed like he was going to be the guy to save us. He was going to fix things. He was going to be the uniter and fix things. And I think people wanted to believe it. So they did. That's what I think. That's from my point of view. We believed. I'm not bamboozled again. But you know what? I wanted to believe it. And I did. So, all right. See if I can grab this here real fast. Joe Jr. and JFK were in the Navy. Joe Jr. died in combat. Oh, I didn't realize that. So one of them died in combat. There we go. Okay. See if I can grab a couple more. Let's see. Several years ago, I wouldn't have supported or agreed with this, but now I have come to support leaving people alone. Maybe that's evolving. I hope so. I think I'm the same way. Guys, I'll tell you something. I have moved so much in my political leanings, right? When I grew up as a little kid, I grew up in the Bronx. My parents were Democrats. I assumed I was a Democrat. I didn't join a party, but I assumed I was a Democrat. But I joined the Marine Corps when I was 17. And most of my leadership, senior Marines, most of them were right or conservative or Republicans. Most were. So I think I moved far more towards right. So I voted for George H.W. Bush the first time I voted in 88. So I think I moved more towards Republican side. Then I just didn't care anymore. I was like, they're all suck. And I was running the Nader game and the Perot game. I didn't care. But as a youngster, 18, 19 maybe, I mean, I was the kid who wore the shirt that said, Kill them all. Let God sort them out. America, USA. I was that kid. Now, of course, that's 35 years ago. But I'm not that person anymore at all. So I think if you've evolved, so have I, Tom. I guess we're all evolving. There we go. Absolutely. Our government has sold weapons as one of its main products for hundreds of years. Absolutely. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Whatever. JFK saw combat. All right, PT-109. Yes, I remember there was a movie about it. Thank you, Brian. I'd forgotten that. Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for that one. I do appreciate that. So, all right, so if I can do this. Yes, nuances absolutely do matter. 100%. Yes. Institutionalized racism was instituted by Dixiecrats. Very true. A lot of that was instituted by the Democratic Party after the Civil War. Absolutely. And even up until the 60s, 1960s, I think. So for about 100 years, most of the bad racist policies were instituted by Democrats. Some Republicans, but mostly Democrats, is true. That really shifted heavily in the 1960s and kind of swapped. And Democrats still do it, but just not as bad, but they're still bad. Absolutely. So, yeah. I voted for Obama the first time. Yes. I didn't vote for him the second time either. I'm with you. Absolutely. 100%. Yes. You sound like me. First Ross Pro, then to hell with both of them, then Libertarian. Yes. Absolutely. 100%. I joined an LP party when Harry Brown ran. Yes. Harry Brown. 96 and 2000. Is that right? In that area. Absolutely. Yes. I do appreciate that. Good. Guys, I want to say thank you so much for today. I appreciate all the time you gave me. Thank you so much for paying attention, watching, and joining in. It's so good. As always, please support the show if you can. $10 a month helps to keep this going on. I'm trying to grow this. And then next year, starting in January, we're going to have new things popping up. Live phone calls, more videos, more growth, more stuff coming up because I'm going to be, building the team out. Always, please, if you can support, please go ahead. And again, theadvocates.org, my sponsors, support them if you can. And if you are a CBD user, please head over to grownselection.com. Type in Sharpe Way 20 for 20% off. Support my sponsors to support the show. Guys, have a great night. I will see you all tomorrow.